And it's a warm welcome to you all. And whoever planned a cocktail party on a Friday night just before a big event, I don't know, but we need to have words, because I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit fuzzy today. But I hope all those who took part enjoyed themselves, and I hope you've saved some cocktails for the rest of the weekend, because if you've gone through that lot, you're in trouble, I can guarantee you. But I'm delighted to be joined on the call today with Gemma Doyle. Gemma, good morning.
Morning, Derek.
How is your head?
I'm feeling a bit squiffy, I won't lie to you. I look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards, but hey, the show must go on.
So is that a Nelson term, squiffy?
Yeah.
So brilliant. So just to update you, we're going to be on for around about an hour today. There's going to be, I hope you're ready to put some working as well, because we want you to get some activities done. But Stepping Stones for Success is something that we set up to help people really through the key stepping stones, and something that was inspired by, well, not inspired, but driven by the need, people going into lockdown, not sure what to do, struggling with their with people who they're trying to call. So it's basically a guide to help you through the key stepping stones for building your business. Now, I don't know if you can see, Gemma, but there is a waiting room there. There are a few people in the waiting room. Can you just keep clicking them through as they come in? Let's have a quick look. I just want to share the screen to show you what we're doing and how that's going to work. So let's see if I can just share this screen with you a second. So Stepping Stones for Success. The first one we did last week was to do with building your database. So I hope, Gemma, that they've done their homework, because I'm going to report them all to Miss. You're going to be holding them in detention afterwards. If they
Detention?
We said, what did we say? 100 names for 1 star, 200 names for 2 stars, and 300 names for 3 stars. So if you want to share your scores, how many names you got into List Builder, okay, just pop them. I just see if I've got the chat going. Yeah, just pop them into the chat. We'd love to see what your scores were. Okay, and that's the key bit really. We've got some names coming through here. 297, 302. Sarah Powell. 266 from Linda Needham. Well done, Linda. Alan Hyam, 197. Lucy got a full house, 300. So you've got your stars coming in the post to you guys. Okay, so just click and see them there. Do you still give those out, Gemma?
Sorry?
Do you still give out gold stars?
Oh yeah, stickers, nice stickers.
So before they tell me where to stick them, I'm going to move on quickly. So making connections is the next stepping stone. And what we're going to look at is, once we've got this list up and running, how do we make connections with them? So if I can just click this on here, let's have a look here. We've still got a few people trying to get in through the waiting room. There we are. Approaching your list. So List Builder is a brilliant tool. Getting your names in that list. And one of the things I did recommend to you was to have a little code, so that if you were looking for all your gym people, you know, a 3-letter code, JYM, or if you had, you know, I've got PMV, which was Penarth Musical Variety Company that I used to belong to. I've got SCH for school. So I can look by tapping that into List Builder for all of those people. One of the things I am going to ask you to do, and Gemma and I are going to recommend that you do this, is maybe you might want to use an asterisk next to that 3-letter code that depicts whether you think that they are someone really exciting that you need to get in contact with first. So so let's have a look why that's important. Gemma, just tell us a little bit about what we mean by profiling the list.
Well, you're highlighting your switched on, ambitious, motivated people. And also a good idea is to put a H next to the homeowners as well. Now, anyone in those two categories are the people we show this business to first. Now, on the customer side, we hear this phrase all the time, don't we? That it's a numbers game, and yeah, on the customer side it is, because everyone is pre-sold. But on the business side, when you're recruiting, why make it a numbers game? Why not make it a quality game? We're looking for top quality people, top people who are of a high caliber. So we're not necessarily looking for everyone in this sense, because not everyone is the right type of person to do well in this business. The people we're looking for are the get up and go doers, the people who are self-motivated, they got the right work ethic, they're disciplined, and obviously they're coachable as well. They have to be coachable. People who are not coachable don't do well, do they? Because they try and reinvent the wheel and they try and do it themselves.
Well, I think that is key, Gemma, because we're all sort of strapped for time, particularly and I remember when I was teaching that very little time in the day. So if you are making calls, it's a great idea to make calls to people that that are going to give this give their serious attention to, and if they get going, they can actually get going quickly. So I've just popped a little slide up here that says, so why SAMs then? Because they've got large networks, these people, don't they? They network well. They're sort of thought of well within the groups that they're part of. And this influence, where you can influence others, that you've made a decision to do something, and people look up to them and are quite happy to join in with them. They're successful people. And I've got also here working outside the comfort zone. Successful people are used to pushing themselves outside their comfort zones. Many of them, if they're running a business or taking on responsibilities, are constantly working outside their comfort zones. Gemma, you've bought in. I recall you bought in. There was something that you were chasing at one stage. A family member, wasn't it, of Steve's? Just share what happened there.
Well, Sean is Steve's cousin, and it took him 5 years to join this business. Now, our testimonial wasn't enough to bring him in. He wouldn't even look at the presentation. But we did work on him for 5 years, and eventually came to an opportunity presentation, and someone's testimonial in that room was enough to bring him in. That was his light bulb moment there. But Sean is a contracts manager. He's an electrician and someone who knows, he's got a big network, and switched on guy, and he's done exceptionally well in the business. So
STL in a year, is it? It's sort of crazy period of time, and still and on the holidays and stuff. So and there's an important point there, guys. Okay, that was someone in Gemma and Steve's hot list. So they had permission to give him an earache every time they met him, telling him he needs to be doing it. And in the end, he just shut them up by going along to one of their events and decided to join on the words of someone that he looked up to. So this stuff works.
I think it's a good idea to point out, Derek, that we're focusing on the show here, aren't we? And what we need to think in our minds is that, look, it doesn't matter to me whether this person says yes or no to this. All that matters is that I've shown them, I've given them another option, and they've decided what's best for them at that point in time. If it's not for them, these types of people, the SAMs, are going to know that they're going to associate with like-minded people. So they're going to introduce us to people who are like them if the business isn't for them. And they're always going to join as a customer, aren't they? Because saving money is a no-brainer.
Absolutely, absolutely. And bringing in SAMs can be quite sort of, financially, it can help us quite a lot. Because I've set some, I had a look at something the other day, and it's quite startling, really. The benefits of working with a SAM, someone who's got a network, people to get going with. But if you bring in a new member, sign them up as a customer, that's, if you only did one in the month, Gemma, and I'm not suggesting anyone just does one in a month. 4, 5, 6, 7, great. But this is just for one in the month. You get 4 holiday points for a Daffy, and £250. Obviously, if you did 4, it's going to be more. But just want to focus on what could happen with one with one Sam in your business. They do their training. They're normally very quick to get onto their training, and that will get you a couple of points towards your holiday. But here's the exciting bit here now. When they hit QD, and they normally do very quickly, they've got, as I said, a good contacts. 3 points comes your way as well for helping them get to QD. But this is the amazing bit here. If you assist them on, say, 10 appointments, obviously within the 45 days, there's another 40 points to be picked up, and over £1,000 of support bonuses. And that totals actually 49 points and £1,250. Now, this is lockdown money. If it's outside lockdown, that could very well be much higher. In fact, it could be over £2,000. But that's just by working with one person. So, what are your views on that, Gemma? I thought that blew me away when I added all that up.
Well, there's a big chunk of your holiday points gone, isn't it? With one person, isn't it? But I think we should be, when we look working in other people's lists, that's where we want to be, isn't it? So we introducing a new person, and we're straight into their list, a fresh list. And as long as we're working with those SAMs, you're consistently bringing in good quality people, aren't you, with that list as well? So not only focusing on the money and the holiday points, but having that recruiting mindset is what's going to really give your business that massive momentum, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you've been there, Gemma, I've been there, but the biggest fear that holds people back is thinking, oh, they're too successful, I'm not good enough, I'll go and speak to people that I have influence over. And in a sense, it's your chicken list, isn't it? This is sometimes, and we have to get over that. And a great way of getting over that is to take the agenda away. And what are your thoughts on making a no agenda call to people?
Well, I think when we get fear of the phone, don't we, Derek, when we focus on ourselves. We are, we make the conversation all about us, and we're focusing on the end result. I need them to say yes, I need them to sign up, or I need that appointment. That creates a lot of anxiety, and that's what creates the fear of the phone, isn't it? But if we just picked up that phone and just thought to ourselves, well, I'm just going to pick up the phone and have a conversation. I'm just going to have a chat and find out how they are, what's going on in their lives. Then suddenly you're making the conversation about them. It's not about you. You're not focusing on the end result. The anxiety decreases, and you don't get fear of the phone anymore, do you? It's just anyone can pick up the phone and just have a chat, can't they? That's just so easy, isn't it? And what we call a no agenda conversation is it's just that, isn't it? You're not trying to get them to agree to anything. It's just really making that conversation about them, finding out how they are, having a catch up. And yeah, great with friends or family that you've lost touch with, old work colleagues, etc. There's someone in the business, isn't there, Derek, who's had great success using this approach.
Absolutely, and I think we're going to have a chat actually with this guy later. It's just amazing what he's done in lockdown. But I do feel that if we've been sitting in lockdown for 3 months and we've got a phone with people that are in that phone that we've spent time with, we've worked with, and we haven't picked it up to say, how you doing, how's the family? It's not a very caring approach, and therefore when we do decide to get round to saying, we may be able to help you, or could you help me, it's not going to work as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, we need to show that we care, don't we, in this period in particular. And if we're going to ask for a favour after that lockdown, and we haven't touched base with them during this period, it's going to be very difficult, isn't it? But how easy is it to pick up the phone and speak to that person again once you've just had a chat with them and you just re-engaged, you've touched base with them, ringing them again and asking them for a favour, isn't it? It's going to be really easy.
Fantastic. And just looking at no agenda conversations, I mean, we talked about this yesterday, Gemma. to find out what their problems are is in a fact-finding mission, making the conversation about them and just asking lots of questions. And on trainings, and going back to when we were doing, company trainings, one of the things that we used to talk about was this thing called form. We say someone's in good form, in good shape, and you'll always be in good shape in a conversation if you're chatting to them about these things, family, their work, recreation. And the idea of form then, the message we've got for them isn't going to be thrown all over them the moment they say, oh, I don't know, I'm worried about my job, and we dive in. I call that kissing on the first date. And I don't know about you, Gemma, but I'm sure your mum told you never to ever kiss on the first date. And I am disappointed, Gemma, because I spoke to Steve a few days ago. But here we are. So just take us through some of these questions, Gem.
We're running through form. So we could ask about the family. How's the family been coping in the lockdown? Occupation. So how has this affected work? Are you working from home? Have you been furloughed? Recreation. Have you been getting out much lately? Have you been doing any exercise? And the end part is the message. Now, we need to decide when it's appropriate to deliver the message. So the human brain revolves around logic, doesn't it? And if that person has shared a problem with you and you've delved a bit deeper in that conversation, asked a few what and why questions and found the emotion in that conversation or in that problem, and you can potentially solve that problem for them, are they going to say no to taking a look? But the key is timing is really, really key. I think sometimes we can mess it up by just jumping on them straight away. Become over really desperate, and then we may go into presentation mode. We mess it up. Emotions may be heightened, particularly in this period, so we need to tread really carefully at the moment. I personally think it's if you know that you can speak to that person again, you've got their number, then I think it's more powerful to go back to that person and then deliver the message and offer them a solution. So as it says there, I've been, Derek, I've been really thinking about our chat we had the other day. You said, you're really worried about the work situation, there's redundancies in work and you're really stressed about that. Well, I haven't mentioned it before, but I might be able to help you out with that.
Right, so what's that, Gemma?
Well, it's not the right place or time to go into it right now, but how soon can you spare me 20 minutes so I can just run this by you? Just it's much easier if I can show you a really short presentation, explains it much better than I can. Actually, have you got time now?
I have, Gemma, I have. In fact, I've got lots of time at the moment. We're locked in our house at the moment. So yeah, now would be a good time.
Okay, I'll jump on a tablet and type this website in and you can have a look.
And that is so easy. And I think a lot of people on the call here will be thinking, I could do that. I could call somebody and have a chat with them, see how they are, see what's, where the family are, how they're doing in work, etc. And I tell you what, a guy thought exactly the same thing. A guy called Jeff Davis. Now I'm going to see if I can find Jeff a minute. And if I can come out of this presentation a second. Let's pop out of that here and see if we can find Jeff Davis a second. There we are, Jeff Davis. I'm going to unmute you, Jeff. Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I am. Morning, Derek. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Now, I thought I was the only mad person in the world, but I'm glad there's a fellow mad person like yourself who went on a mission at the beginning of lockdown, Jeff, and just share, this no agenda stuff, just share what you actually did over the last 3 months, or what you've done over the last 3 months.
Okay, well, right at the start of the lockdown, I was reading a book and it mentioned the 90-day challenge. And I thought, what can I do that's going to help me in the business? Now, I would have my phone in my hand here, but my wife has got it talking to someone at the moment. I've been in the business 19 years and I've had the biggest fear of the phone going. hardly ever use it. And I just wanted to get over the fear of the phone. So I decided I would phone everybody in my contact list. At that point, I had over 1,200 names in my phone.
Wow.
And
So how did you break that down? Because that's, in looking at 1,200 names, did you say to yourself, what am I going to just go through people I know, or how did you approach that?
I had the attitude I was going to speak to everybody, and I was going to do it from A to Z. So
Wow.
I started in the letter A, and on day 79, I got to the letter Z.
Fantastic.
Amazing conversations.
And just because there is there's a great call that you did with Lloyd Daly on this, and if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend you get on there and have a look. So there's lots and lots of great advice in it. But in terms of that activity, Jeff, what has that led to in terms of your business?
Well, in the A's, I signed up one partner, and then eventually in the R's, I signed up another partner who has consequently signed up 3 partners with my help, and the following one has signed up 5 or 6, I'm not quite sure now. 6, my wife just pointed me. Partners with all on supporting appointments, which has been fantastic. Yeah, it was all no agenda. So.
Obviously, so you put UW to one side and make these calls, and that's amazing. And were you scared about making calls to people on your phone?
I was petrified, I have to say. But between day 3 and 5, I'd lost the fear of the phone. I will pick up the phone now and phone absolutely anybody. I was phoning people I'd never spoken to in my life as well, that just happened to be in the phone for some reason or other. So that's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's quite frequent in Cardiff after Rugby International. You know, you get people in your phone, you don't even know where you met them. But so I would always use the code RI, which is Rugby International, against a name you enter in during that type of weekend. So, but we've all been there. Fantastic! That's amazing. And you've got a couple of people who are obviously going very, very quickly. Would you suggest that everyone here has a go at that?
Yeah, I think so. One of my team messaged me last night to say she'd watched the Lloyd interview and she's doing it. So yeah, I think it's for everyone. Use the phone and contact everybody. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure where Lloyd is today, because I just wondered if he is on the call. I don't know. He may be. He was on the cocktails last night. No, I think he's gone to call his friends. I think he's going through his phone list already. I think he's only got about 10 to do, but so he won't be long.
But, few people asking in the chat what book you read. What was the book that said the day challenge?
Which one was it? I can't remember now. I'll put it in the chat shortly. I can't remember. There's so many here. I can't remember which one it was.
And did you enjoy the cocktail evening, Jeff?
I certainly did. Had great fun. Really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well,
no headache though, I'm pleased to say.
It was amazing to listen to that, and there again, you know, that's something we could all do if we're timetabling. And I'm really one for timetabling. When you're doing your call blasts or when you're doing whatever you're doing, even though you may not be working all the way through like Jeff did, just go through, make sure that maybe 5 of those calls you make, okay, off from your no agenda list, just working through your phone. Just build it into your routine, because it's such an easy way of reconnecting with people. So, Jeff, thanks ever so much for that. Good luck with, it sounds like you're going to be really busy with your team, and that's ultimately what happens when you start calling people and helping people. You need more people helping you to help them. So I'm sure you're going to see a great result from that in your team. So well done, mate. And we'll have to chat with you again. I'll drag you in on some of the other Zoom calls that we do.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Thank you, Derek.
Fantastic. I'll let you mute yourself, Jeff. Okay, if you can sort that out. So Gemma, that's a sort of a non-agenda approach. Now we were talking the other day about the fact that there are people in our phones that we know quite well. We know their situations. They have a clue maybe that we're getting into something or we're doing something. So let's have a look at a more direct approach, okay? And if I can see if I can get this loaded up onto the screen here, just talk us through this one, Gemma. So this is to do with, let's have a look here, paying compliments.
Okay, so I personally think that you get more credibility if you just come out with it straight away rather than going into a conversation and dancing around the subject. You know, hi, how are you? How's the family? How's the dog? How's the cat? And then you drop this in at the end, because what they're going to be thinking is, right, okay, that's what she wanted. Now, I think you get more credibility just going straight in with it. You know, Steve and I call it forearm smash. You just go straight in and tell them why you called, okay? So look, I called you because, you know, I've started a business, really excited about it. I thought of you straight away because you're a switched on guy, you're in business, you've always done well for yourself. I've always looked up to you, or you're well connected, or look, you've got a cracking personality. You could say, look, people like you are doing really well in my business. And it's good to take the pressure off as well by saying, look, it may be for you, it may not. But look, if you can see what I can see, I think you love it. You'd just be as excited as I am. And how soon? Now, when you say how soon in that invite, it creates an element of urgency. So they're thinking, you know, right now or tomorrow rather than next week, next month. So how soon can you jump on a computer so I can run this past you? So, you know, key elements in that conversation is, you know, paying a compliment. People don't get compliments very often nowadays because people are so consumed in their own lives, usually. So when, you know, you just stand out, don't you, by just paying them a compliment. They are really receptive then. They think, oh, right, okay, you think I'm really switched on, or, you know, you look up to me. So they're going to be, you're off on a good foot from the word go, aren't you? You're in their good book, so to speak. But so yeah,
you're saying, you know, this is, and guys, if you're looking at this, Gemma's from Nelson. This is a wrestling move, okay? A forearm smash. The half Nelson as well came out of Nelson.
Headlock.
Headlock, is it? But Gemma, you're obviously, you've come from an occupation where you were just bombarded with compliments, weren't you? Sort of school.
Oh yeah.
But as I said, you know, thinking about it, I'm sure, Gemma, even there are people that maybe you've worked with that you know, you still have on your list for thinking, I don't know if I'd approach them. But has this worked on people that you've approached as well within education and where you used to work?
Yeah. You know, I think everyone loves a compliment, don't they? Everyone does. And you just really, as I said before, when you've got that mindset of, you know, you're not really, it's not necessarily about them, it's about who they know too, isn't it? It's, yeah, when you're indifferent to the outcome, I think that's the key, isn't it? When you pick up that phone and you just think, look, you know, if it's for them, great. If it's not, great. It doesn't matter to me. All that matters is that I've shown them and I've given them another option. That's all that I'm focusing on.
Yeah, and guys, I mean, just if you're looking at the screen now, I mean, I will. This is going to be recorded, so but don't forget, you can take a snapshot of any of these things coming up onto the screen. So that's more of a direct approach. People you've got good relationships with, Sam's that you're aware of, and it's sort of getting straight to the point, so that they're not sort of working out. Oh, I wonder why they've called me. This is why.
Yeah.
This is why.
You can leave the niceties to the end. So once you've said this and you say, oh, by the way, how are you and how's the family, and you leave that at the end, and that, I think that gives you a lot more credibility.
We've also got another one here, Gemma, again talking us through this one as well, which is using your why as part of that conversation. As you said, leave the niceties to the end, but using your why. Just take us through this one.
Well, you know, our why is a powerful story, isn't it? And I think, you know, they say when you share your why in appointments, people are thinking, well, if the business can do that for you, why can't it do that for me? So, this is a really powerful invite too. So you could just say, look, there's a lot of uncertainty out there in the job sector at the moment. It's no job for life anymore, is there? So, you get an agreement in the beginning of that invite. This has made me think about my future and financial security. Started to do something about it. I've started building up a backup plan for me and the family. Would it be okay? That's a good big old phrase to put in there, isn't it? Would it be okay if I showed you what I'm doing?
Absolutely. And this, I see this one as a particularly a major lockdown sort of script in a way, because you're going to be chatting to people, and we all know what's going on around us, and this is about you taking action, isn't it, and doing something about it, and they're going to be looking at this thinking, well, do you know what, I'm in the same situation, what is it you're doing? And if they're ready to have a look straight away, again, get onto the computer and show them. Don't hold back. Don't say, well, actually, when you free Thursday or Friday of next week or whatever, just say, if you've got 20 minutes now, I can show you what I'm doing.
No time like the present.
Absolutely. So thanks for that, Jem. We've got a few more people in the waiting room. Let's let these in. And if you keep an eye on the chat, because if anyone's got questions and things, pop them into the chat. We'll see if we can get some of these answered. So I'll let Gemma have a quick look at that. The next approach really is the hot list, and this list is quite tricky, because there are times when our hot list can be the most supportive people, and it can also be the most unsupportive people that we've got in our connections, and it depends on relationships. But let's have a look at the hot list, because this is something, Gemma, that your excitement is bursting out, and it's something you wouldn't keep a secret. If you've got a best friend, you're not going to keep it a secret. You're going to be wanting to show that excitement and to get that information out straight away. So just take us through this one, Gemma.
So, in normal circumstances, this would be the pop the kettle on, I'm popping up type of script. So these people really, really well to use that type of script, isn't it? So, but in this case, we can't pop up now. So this is an alternative. So look, something's just really, really exciting has just dropped in my lap. Gosh, it's amazing. You've got to see this. Have you got your tablet there, Derek?
I have, yes.
Right, pop this website into the address bar in Safari or in Google. You've got to have a look at this.
Fantastic. Well, what's it about?
Well, you'll have a look now. You'll see.
hang on. I can't type fast enough. But that's the point, isn't it? This is the point. You've got. If Gemma and I were work colleagues, I would have listened to every moan and groan. Every break time, every lunch time, every sort of staff room event. I would know what Gemma was moaning and groaning about as a friend. And if I found something, I'd want to share that straight away. Gemma, okay, I don't want to hear another moaning groan again. I found the solution, and you've got to look at this. It's amazing, and I think in that energy, that excitement is what this familiar approach is all about. Your sponsor, fabulous guy. Sadly, we lost him a few years ago. But Neil Johnson, he brought you into the business, and this is the approach he used with all his family, and he just told them they were signing up, they're doing it. He was so excited when he saw this, and it does work. Also, I think this is the sort of script you must have used with Steve's cousin as well, because he got that script every time you saw him, didn't he?
Yeah. But family are difficult. My sister's moved 3 times and she still won't look at the business, but that's family. It doesn't stop me from building a business. And again, timing is key. I think timing wins out in the end. But guys, I think some people, we all fall into the trap now and again, don't we, of sending text messages. But you can't replace the power of a phone call, can you, in a text? There's people feed into the excitement in your voice, the you know, the element of urgency. They can see you're really excited about something. They got, you know, they can sense it, and that gets them going, isn't it? They're curious. They're dying to know what you're so excited about. Now you can't convey that in a text message, so we've just got to grow up here, haven't we, and pick up the phone. We just got to do it.
Gemma, subtly put. So, okay, but you know, we are in a world now, Gemma, where a lot of the youngsters, they are sort of, they tend to communicate through their sort of mobile. It's sort of, they very rarely lift their eyes up to see who they're talking to. And I said, you know, and I'm sure everyone else can identify with this, but you know, where your conversations are taking place in one room in your house, and people are talking to each other. And that's because they're typing there on social media. So social media is a valuable resource, and again, there's all different types of forms that you've got Facebook, Twitter, you know, Instagram, but what you're saying there, to get onto a conversation, we have to probably approach this in a slightly different way. And what I want to just spend a few minutes talking about is how do you build this up with your list? You know, have you added people on your sort of friends list in say Facebook into your list builder? Because it's well worth doing. And in the same way we make a call on social media, the first things that people do is sort of like people's pages, like people's comments. What people tend to do when they first get involved in this business is to find every pitch they can find on Utility Warehouse and post it up with buy from me now, best mobile rates, cheapest gas, and they plaster that all over social media, and they've actually missed the big clue there in the social, not the sales. So I would definitely encourage people to use social media in a more subtle way. And one of the things that we can do is just like posts. You know, if you've got someone on your list, and rather than, and you're a bit worried about the contact is quite cold, first of all, you've got to warm it up. And you can do that by liking their post. You can do that by sort of, you know, it comes up when it's their birthday, you can send them a little birthday message. And what will happen is that person will appear more and more in your Facebook feed. And then you're able then to develop that and start commenting on their posts. And before long, that person who was unfamiliar or you've lost contact with is now being warmed up to the point where they'll start commenting on your posts, because it works the other way around. And again, just like Gemma was talking about, you know, being complimentary, be complimentary in the post as well. You know, say some positive things. You know, if it's about the family, the kids, the holiday. You know, often I call it trumps, where, you know, someone posts something up about their holiday, and the other person then posts something up about the better holiday that they did. So holding back, being complimentary, and saying nice things about the posts that they've put up. And again, you know, when you do get talking, the no agenda conversation comes in. You know, don't go hurtling in with UW. And the great thing about social media is that you don't need telephone numbers anymore. So if they're a friend on Facebook, you can use Messenger. You can actually make a phone call with Messenger, which is not a big surprise if you've gone through all of these stages to develop that rapport and that relationship. So my message for everyone here: social media is an amazing resource if you use it in the correct way. So get social with it, identify the people in your social media contacts, put them into List Builder, and make a note as you're going through in List Builder. You know, so I know when Mike has gone on holiday, so that when I have a chat with him or finally get talking with him, I say, you know, you can bring the holiday in. And people like it when they see you've taken a bit of an interest in them. Anything else on there on the social media side, Gemma?
Yeah, well, it's just, as you said before, Derek, it's just warming people up, isn't it? Re-engaging with people. These are usually people that we haven't seen for a while, maybe people from school. An example where it's worked well for me in the past is an old school friend had posted up her honeymoon photographs. They went to Mexico, and I just started up a conversation, like the post. But just said, always wanted to go to Mexico, loved your holiday photos, congratulations. And yeah, the conversation developed, and then she ended up asking, I have seen your posts, and I've seen you're doing something with a business. What are you doing? I've been quite intrigued, but I just haven't had I haven't thought about contacting you and asking you. But yeah, it turned out that she joined the business off the back of that conversation. So it's just really about engaging with people, and like you said, with no agenda, just having a chat, and who knows where that conversation's going to go, isn't it?
Absolutely. And this is the sort of stuff, if I click on here, a lot of people are involved in what we call call blasts at the moment, making time to, sometimes you can get involved in social media where you'll go on and then 4 hours later you realize you haven't done anything, you haven't called anybody, you've just been scrolling. But what if you use social media in a way that you've got your list builder, you've got 4 or 5 people that you're going to follow what they've done on social media, put those comments in, build those relationships as part of that activity. So it's a purposeful activity, not just a random wasting time with actually no real plan. So these call blasts are taking place at the moment. We've got lots going on, but the reason why they're successful is because it's accountability, turning up. As we know, it's hard to do things on our own, and particularly in lockdown, but accountability then, that we know other people are on the call. We've also got the fact that it's developing consistency. That there are people doing it every single morning for half an hour or 3 times a week for an hour. Developing consistency, and with consistency, as Jeff Davis mentioned earlier, being scared of picking up the phone, but when you do something consistently, you build your confidence. The fear just sort of evaporates away, and you have a confidence. And what you're going to see are definitely results. As Jeff, with 11 new IDs in his business, as the result of taking some action that he was scared of and repeating it over a period of time, building confidence, now showing results. And I would suggest, with these call blasts, get involved in these. There are several going across the team. People are doing them cross team as well. But from your list, making your calls during these periods, because what will happen is you will be encouraging team members to come on with you as well. And the bit I love about this is that those calls you could be making could be those no agenda calls, and also you're listening to other people's calls as well. Obviously, Gemma, it's not always as easy as it sounds. I mean, and the no agenda call, absolutely. But here's a few things. This is taken from the company side here. What have they asked you what it's all about before you get to show them? What's your advice, just looking at some of these?
Well, where most people go, they fall down, is that we start going into presentation mode at this point. And as Big Al says, if we talk about this business randomly, a random choice of words, we're roadkill, aren't we? We're toast. We say the wrong thing, we start listing benefits, and we come across like a salesperson, because what do salespeople do? They inject the value, they list all the benefits, and we're programmed to block or reject any kind of sale that's going on. So to avoid all that, what we got to think of is that we are not paid to talk about this ourselves. We're paid to get in front of people and show them the company tools. Press play on the video, Joanna Lumley delivers the message. So, we've got to stick to our guns on this, and, we're in control of the conversation, not them. And, if they are too close-minded or skeptical, and they need to know everything before agreeing to an appointment, then it's just not for them. But, you know, some key ideas here is, you know, you either say it's a favour to me, I just need to tick you off my list, you know, in my training phase if you're new. It's a visual thing. I need to just, you know, it's a presentation which explains it much better than me, which I need to show you. I can't do it justice. I love that phrase. Can't do it justice over the phone now or in a text. You know, the presentation delivers the message. And yeah, you know, if at the last resort, you know, you could just say, you know, most I can say now is about saving and making money. And that's it really. Most people, again, Big Al, most people see sense in either lowering the costs or earning an extra income right now, and then go back into the close, isn't it? When's best for you, daytime or evening? But yeah, we're just sticking to our guns at this point.
Fantastic. So we said this was going to be a bit of a practical today, Gemma. We want people actually doing some activity.
Before we go into that, Derek, there are a couple of questions. Should we go through them?
Yeah, fire away.
Yeah, there was someone asking about if, let's just try and find it. Any tips on how to put it when you've been in the business a long time? Can't say I've just started a new business.
Well, one of the things I would say straight away is that we've undergone a transformation. Everything's gone online. And I'd love to update you and show you what we're doing and how the company's changed. I mean, it's all remote stuff now, isn't it? So, you know, we've got that. I mean, the company's changing all the time. I said at the beginning of lockdown, we had a brand new business again. The way it operates, the way we support on it, the way people earn money through it. It's a brand new business. So, you know, we've got under a massive overhaul in terms of how we operate. Your thoughts, Jem?
You know, I think in these times, people are really receptive to the word help, aren't we? So I think just coming from an angle where you're saying, look, my business is all about helping people, and I'm trying to help as many people as I can during this difficult time. I haven't even had a chance to show you my presentation and show you what this is about properly. But, you know, would it be okay if I just showed you what I do? It may be for you, it may not, and take a bit of pressure off them by saying that. But, you know, if it's not for you, it will definitely be for someone that you know who may be in a tricky spot that I can help instead. So...
Fantastic. So we've got lots of people on the call today. What I'd like to do now is I'm going to put up just see if we can just see a few people who've joined us. We're going to set an activity for you. It's just going to be a 10-minute activity, literally 10 minets. And what we'd like you to do is just to go to List Builder, and obviously we're going to have to mute everyone here. You don't want to be hearing, 260 odd voices. Is to make a few calls, and I'm going to pop up a few scripts here. And you know, if you're worried about this, don't fret. Do a non-agenda call if you're really worried about this. But if you want to do a direct call, depending on your relationship, just have a go at least one of these calls. Okay, so let's see if I can get up the script here. And so these are the 3 calls we're going to make, or 3 types of calls we can be involved in. So I said 15 minutes, but a no agenda call, a direct approacher call, and a familiar approacher call. But as my good friend Stuart Ritchie says, okay, we need to pick up the damn phone and speak to them in one way or another. So here is the script. Okay, I'm going to pop that script up there. There's the on the top left there. That's all to do with form. You've got maybe using your why or paying a compliment, and there's a few ideas there. If they're asking you what's it about. And what I want you to do is just in the chat there, just say who you called and what was the result. Is it just a first connection, or was it someone that you managed to get in front of, or is it someone that you're following up with? So we're just going to spend literally literally 10 minutes, okay, and then at the end of the call, then I will just close it and we'll share with you what we're going to be doing next week. Okay, so stay with us, please. Don't go anywhere, and have a go at that, and let's see if we can get this moving. Okay, guys, it's 10 o'clock, sorry, 11 o'clock, doesn't time fly? And I'm going to sort of call you all back in for a moment. So if you are still on a call, keep going, don't stop. Just make sure you're on mute. But Gemma, just a quick one to finish off. I don't know if I can get you unmuted there.
Hello.
No, yeah, I got a couple of calls in, Gemma. I got one answer phone, and I've got one that I've just left a message for as well. But these are really important, aren't they? Sort of getting into these activity groups and then planning some calls, constructive calls.
Grow some balls, make those calls, as they say, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, if you're not involved in any call blasts at the moment, or even if you want to set your own up, just do that. Just set up your own call blast, and keep working the list. And as I said, you know, whatever happens in the call, the key bit is record it. You know, have your list builder next to you. You've made the call, enter the information in. If it's a no for now, then reschedule to call them in 3 months, 6 months. Wes has got a great book, The Prospecting Game. If you've not read The Prospecting Game, then you're missing a treat here, because most people, Gemma, don't join first time of asking. Most people don't, you know, become a distributor first time of asking. So it's normally the third or fourth call that you make with them that they come on board. And it was quite interesting, actually. I don't know if I can see people on the screen here, but just pop up your hand if you joined first time of asking. Just pop up your hands if you joined first time. Pop up your hands if it took a few times before you joined. Yeah? Okay. We've got quite a few people there saying a few times. Well, isn't it fair to give them an opportunity to do it after a few times? And the biggest problem is people don't make that second call or that third call because they're scared now. Oh, they didn't like it. They're not interested. I've been rejected. I don't want to go back to them again. I think, Gemma, your interesting story, actually, because you were introduced by your sponsor who'd spoken to you a few times and actually bribed you by taking you to a Pizza Tuesday, didn't they?
Yeah. It's, you know, we got to use these tools, haven't we? As, who says, is it the, I forget his name now, but he says we take them from hot plate to hot plate to hot plate. We're in the decision-making business, aren't we? We're trying to give them information and see if they've got enough information at that point to make a decision.
Yeah.
Maybe not be the right, you know, they may not have all the information to hand there and then. So if not, we just offer them another exposure.
And it's not to panic. Don't panic. I mean, that's Tom Barrett, by the way, isn't it? And literally, you went from hot plate to hot plate to hot pizza, didn't you? So, and joined, because, you know, let's face it, you know, we're a great bunch of people to be involved with. We're a positive group. In this particular environment, I believe that we hold something very, very special in terms of our community, in terms of what we can do to help families who want to build a secure financial future. So absolutely fantastic. Guys, I can still see people on their phones now. You see, they're hooked in. Jeff, you've started a trend here, Jeff Davis, I think.
But Derek, I think, you know, if they say it's not for them, I think it's really good to just leave on a good note by saying, look, you know, I understand it's not for you. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, if you do know anyone at all, if you get into a conversation with someone who's lost their job, or they may be on furlough and they may need an extra top up to their income, an emergency income to get them through a difficult time, that's someone I can genuinely help out. So please pass me on.
Yeah.
You know, you leave on a good note then, don't you?
Absolutely. And the fact is, Gemma, obviously the time is not right for you at the moment. I can see your wits end with everything you're balancing. But would it be okay if I just kept in touch with you and just kept you updated what we're doing as a company? You know, you never know, your situation might change. Would that be okay?
Of course, yeah.
So, and that's where we put it into List Builder. We make that note, make that record, and she's going to get a call off me. If she's my best mate, it'll be next week. So, but if it was a cooler contact, then maybe 6 months' time or 12 months' time. But what we do there, we build up a pipeline. So every single day, you should have someone to call if you've built up pipeline. Right, I'm very conscious. It's now 5 past. We're meant to be finishing it at 11. What I'm going to just remind you of is that there's a couple of things. I think it's next Tuesday. Is it the Buzz? The Buzz is on again. It's coming up next week.
Monday.
Next Monday. Yeah. So get involved with the company Buzz. I hope that you are all feeling a little bit better after today, and certainly you've cleared your heads after cocktail night last night. And next week, we're going to move on to the third stepping stone. This is all to do with sharing options. So we've gone from building the database, we've gone through to making the connections and the appointment or the get together, and then sharing options, because the options that we share are really exciting. We're sharing options to help people reduce their costs, but more importantly, to give them an option to earn some extra money that they could well do with at this moment in time. And I'm really excited because we've got a youngster involved in that one. You know, they say find someone or recruit someone who's better than you. I stared at him for 18 years, and then at 22 he decided that he wanted to join. Well, he didn't decide. I told him he was joining, and then Mad Day. His first major event, he had a good look around the room and he sort of said, "Dad, you've done quite well, haven't you?" And he said, "I want some of this," and he's been working flat out since. So we've got the fabulous James Thomas, who's going to be showing you how he presents the business. And I would just say, you know, this is a youngster's business. So, you know, if you've got youngsters involved in this business, get them involved in the call, because they've got the drive and energy that, and I'm classifying myself here as a bit of a dinosaur, is sort of running out of a little bit. So get these youngsters involved. Really excited to have him on the call next week. And thank you for your attendance today. And we can all tick them off. Gemma, yeah. Who was anyone here in detention, by the way, Gemma Dora?
I think they've all done really well, actually. They've listened in intently. They've done their list, so they're in good books.
Yeah,
we'll let them off the 10.
Damien Crawford is 6 calls. Okay, you've got Sarah Powell did 4, and so people are making calls, and you know, and you know, what's there to be frightened of?
There's 2 hands up, Derek. I don't know if you've got time to ask.
2 hands.
And Lydia.
Margaret, okay, let's hang on. Where's Margaret? Let me just ask to unmute Margaret. Margaret, you're I've asked to unmute you. I don't know how that works.
Hello, sorry, I've just managed it. I'm having a problem with my gizmos. I did a list builder and I put on another sort of 50 odd names. So it's growing. So I made 1 phone call but didn't get a reply, so I left a message.
Brilliant. Well, well done. Fantastic, Margaret. Well done. And are you finding these useful, Margaret?
Very useful, yes. It's building up my confidence because I've been out of the loop for a while. So I'm trying to get back into it again.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And just we've got here Julie Moy. I'm just going to ask to unmute. Second. Julie, you're
hi. Yeah. Hi, sorry, I've gate crashed this. I didn't know it was on. I've only just joined it. But on the list builder, I've only just started using the list builder last week properly.
Yep.
And I've noticed that when people are customers already by somebody else, there's nowhere to put them. Because if I'm putting a date and years ahead to try not to follow them up. But then when it gets to that time, I don't want to accidentally phone them and they'll say, "I've told you I'm already a customer." But I don't want to delete them, otherwise I won't know that I've come.
I would keep in touch about the business, okay? And if someone
Right, okay.
is in touch about the business, just talk to them about the business and who else they know would benefit from these amazing services as well, okay?
So can I do that even though there's somebody else's customer?
Yeah, so if you're just being friendly and
Okay.
yeah, and ask them as well. Are they? Is the person who signed them up as a customer? Are they keeping in touch with them? Because if they're
Yeah.
not, okay, then you are quite right then to be able to follow up. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So, Gemma, I'm going to end the call now. Thank you, guys. We'll see you all next week. And carry on. If you've got another half an hour and you want to make some more calls, don't stop. Take care. See you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks,
Take
Gemma.
care. Bye-bye. Bye.